Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to another video. In this video right here, we are going to go through how you can make a summon spell for your companion, so you can summon them wherever you are. And in this video, we are not going to do much, however, we're going to take a look at this, and it's pretty easy to do, so I'm going to walk you through it, so you see how it works. So the first thing we're going to have to do is just set up our magic effect, which is just a tab with some of the information about what's going on, and then we have then we're gonna make our spell itself. Excuse me. Afterwards we can make our spell tome, which is gonna be the item we will have added when we start the game, since that's how we're gonna set this up. And then we can make the quest. It's not really a quest, but it's just gonna add the spell tome when we start the game, and then afterwards we can just write the script for the magic effect itself and the script for the quest. Those scripts aren't really hard to write, so you don't really need to worry about them. And I will walk you through them, so don't worry about it. It's quite easy to do. So once we open up the creation kit and we load up our plugin, don't forget to set it as active. Then in here we can go to magic and go to magic effect, and we are going to type Flame Atronach or so, because we are gonna duplicate the Flame Atronach spells and stuff to work with those, because they're set up correctly for the most part. So the summon Flame Atronach, we can duplicate that. Now if we click on it, we can give it our custom ID. So I'm gonna call it magic effect summon Carla, because our companion in this tutorial is called Carla. Then once we've done that, we can go to, also under magic, go to spell, and then in here, the Conjure Flame Atronach, we can duplicate that one. Once again, we can give it another name, summon Carla. There we go. And then after that, we can go to items, and under book. Now, once again, we can duplicate that, and we can give it a name. So I'm going to call it book summon Carla spell tome. That's how I'm gonna call it. And then the last thing is the quest itself. We can just make a new one. I'm gonna give it the ID LXM quest summon Carla spell tome. That's how I'm gonna call it. Okay, now we can hit OK, and I recommend you save. Once we've done that, we can look up our prefix, go to all, and now we see our spell tome, we see our magic effect, we see our quest, and we see our spell. So the first thing we can set up is going to be the magic effect itself. However, first open up your actor, the companion, and now check summonable. Make sure that's checked. You don't really need to do this exact the same way I'm doing it. However, I recommend you do it this way because it works. So okay, so under the magic effect, you can open it up, and then under name, I recommend you call this summon Carla, or summon whatever companion, because this will be the name displayed in the magic menu. Summon creature, that's fine, but delivery, we need to change this to self. So you gotta scroll through the list and select self. Magic skill conjuration, that's fine. Minimum skill level, I would say 0, because 0 is novice, 25 is apprentice, 50 is adept, 75 is expert, and 100 is master. So if you set this to 0, anybody without any conjuration perks can just use the spell. The next thing, under associated item 1, we can look up our actor. Then we select them. The next thing we can do is remove the keywords here, because these are actually only reactions from the NPCs around. Unless you want that, but never mind that. I recommend you remove them. Same thing for the condition here, just remove that. We don't want that. Everything else is set up just fine. One additional thing is the casting sound level. You could change this to silent so that when you use it, you won't notify enemies that you're using it, so you can play around with that. I'm gonna leave it to loud. And then the magic item description, this is what's going to be the effect displayed in the magic menu, what it does. So I'm going to say, I'm going to type summons Carla near you. That's all I'm going to do. Then once you've done that, you can hit OK, save, and now we can set up our spell itself. So you can open up the spell, and once again under the name, we can call it Summon Carla. And then the next thing we can do is we can already remove all of the other effects that it has from the Flame Atronach, because we don't want these. And now these will become unchecked. So, only thing you gotta change is delivery, set that to self as well. Otherwise the magic effect won't show up. Casting perk, we can set this to none. So that you can use it without any conjuration perks. Now, under effects, you can just right click, hit new. And in here you can select the magic effect that we created. Duration 0, that's fine, just hit OK. And then here under auto calculate, you can uncheck this, and where it says spell cost, you can give it, you can type any amount that you want, so that if you for example type 100, you will have to pay 100 Magicka to actually cast the spell. However, I'm gonna leave this at 0. And then we can just hit OK. And that's set up. Now, next thing is the spell tome, the item itself. I recommend you call it spell tome, summon whatever NPC, so summon Carla, that's what I'm gonna call it. Next thing is the weight of the item, the value, how much gold it costs, so I would say 25. We're probably not gonna sell it anyways, but I think 25 is quite nice, that seems good. Then next thing, make sure a spell is selected, and we look up our spell in the list. So you can select that, then here, I recommend you change this to Summon Carla. This right here is actually only the book text. We cannot read spell tomes because you just use them and they are destroyed, but yeah, in future you could just leave this blank, but I like to keep it like this. And then once you've done that, you can just hit OK. And now we're almost done. The only thing we have to do now is write our script for the magic effect, set up our quest, and write the script inside of the quest. Not much left to do. Okay, so we can open up our magic effect again. In the bottom right, where it says Papyrus Scripts, you can hit add. Now we can make a new spell. So we can give the script a name. I'm gonna call it like some script Summon Carla spell. Then we hit OK. Once we hit OK, it's gonna be added. And if you double click it, now all we gotta do is add Carla and the player as a property. So actor under type, and then we can type as name player. Now we're gonna do the same thing for Carla or your companion. There we go. And once again, don't forget to fill her out or him, but I can do it because I recently installed it, so I lost my progress. But it's the same thing as in the other tutorials. So I'm just going to do it for the player, in my case, because I can't fill her out. So, player, edit value. For a player, it's under cell, any, then just player, player of player, that one. So it should say player, actor, then player ref. Same for Carla. You have to fill her out, otherwise it won't work. So once you've done that, you can click OK. Right click the script, go to edit source. And then in here you can maximize this, and if you use Ctrl and the mouse wheel, it will zoom in and out. So in here you can jump to another line. Now we're gonna write a script. It's quite easy to do. You just type event space on effect start. Now you open up the parentheses, you type actor space target comma space actor space caster. Now you close that. And now this is just the event, so when you actually use the spell itself, now what we're gonna type here is what's gonna happen. So we can type Carla.move to player. That's all you gotta do. In this case, Carla here, you only have to type the name of your companion that you gave it, the name of the property. And now another interesting thing that you could do, if you want, is that if you summon your companion, you can make a notification show up in the top left corner of the screen. Just the way I did it with Bethnia. However, I did it slightly differently, but this is going to work as well. So what you can do is you can just do debug.notification open up the parentheses and type these two little symbols. Then you can do Carla has been summoned near you. Type them again and close the parentheses. So that's all you gotta do. So when we use the spell, Carla will be moved to the player, and a notification will show Carla has been summoned near you. You only need to open up the parentheses and close it at the end, and put these two little things here, and there. That's all you gotta do. The next in the list, you can just type end event. There we go. And if you want, you can press tab and stuff to make it all look prettier. That's what I usually do. And then we can just hit Ctrl S to save, and it should compile. And when you save, it will automatically compile it. So that's quite nice. So once it works, you can just close it, hit OK, and save. And now the last thing we're gonna do is set up the quest. So once we open up our quest, where it says type, you can leave this at none. Quest name, don't need one because it will just be a background thing. It's not really a quest. And under priority, I like to give everything the priority of 30, so I recommend you do that because it works. Now with start game enabled and run once, that should be checked, because this way when we launch the game, the quest will start, and if we launch the game a second time, it will not run again. Because otherwise, if we uncheck this, we will have a spell tome added each time we actually launch the game, which we probably don't want. So make sure these two are checked. That's all we gotta do. And now under quest stages, where it says index, we can make our first stage. You can leave this at 0. Now we check startup stage, and where it says log entry, we can click new, right click and new. Then once we have done this, you can already check complete quest, so that once it's finished with this stage, once it finishes the papyrus fragment, which we are gonna write now, it's gonna actually complete the quest, so it won't stay running in the background. So in the papyrus fragment, here we're gonna write a really simple script. However, if you press properties, as you can see, nothing happens. So what you can do to fix this is you can just type a space, now compile, and hit OK. Now we can open up the quest again. Now we can delete the space, and if we press properties, it works. So all we gotta do now is we can just add the player as a property and the spell tome. So we add a new property, an actor, and we type player. Next thing is going to be the spell tome, which is of type book. Then I'm just going to call it spell tome. And then we can hit OK. And now we're going to fill these. So player, once again, any cell, and then player, ref, player. Same thing for the spell tome. In the list, we can look for a spell tome that we made. From my case, it's already here. And we hit OK. And now for the script, it's really easy. We just type player dot add item, open up the parentheses, and then we write spell tome, comma, space 1. Then we close them, and that's it. That's all we gotta write. So when we start the game, this quest will run, and the player will have the spell tome added, and only one of them. And then once it's finished with the papyrus fragment, with the script fragment here, it will actually complete the quest. So that's quite nice. Once you've typed this, you can just hit compile. It should compile, everything should be fine. Then you can hit OK. Actually, if you press compile and it doesn't complain, it means it works. Here there's no thing that actually tells you that it worked, but you know, if something doesn't work, it will show you a error message. So we can just hit OK, save, and there we go. That's everything done. Now when you start the game, you will have the spell tome added. I always recommend that you test mods by using COC, and then you go somewhere from the main menu, because like that you are on a new game and you don't need to worry about any issues with save files. Okay, so now once we've done that, there's only one more thing that I want to tell you, is that, and that is in the last video or so we went over archiving your companion. So keep in mind that this time, now after doing this, we have edited the plugin, in other words the .esp file, And we have also written a couple of scripts so you will have to add those to your archive. And that's all you will have to do. So if you have any questions, leave a comment. I will try to get back to you. And that's it. See you in the next video.